Sri Lanka's newly appointed cabinet of ministers was sworn in today before President Anura Kumara Dissanayake at the presidential secretariat in Colombo. The 21-member cabinet comprises a blend of seasoned politicians and fresh talent, aiming to address the nation's pressing issues and chart a path towards sustainable development. Dr. Harini Amarasuraya continues as the Prime Minister, and she will also oversee the Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education. Her dual role highlights the administration's emphasis on reforming education and enhancing vocational training opportunities to empower the workforce. Vijita Herath continues as the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism. Other key appointments include Bimal Ratanaike, who has been assigned the portfolio of Transport, Highways, Civil Aviation, while Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa has been given the charge of Health and Media. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar congratulated his Sri Lankan counterpart Vijita Herath on his reappointment. Jaishankar said he looks forward to working together to further strengthen our historic bonds of friendship and deepen our wide-ranging partnership for mutual benefit. Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayake will visit India in December. Newly appointed Foreign Minister Vijita Herath said. Speaking to media today, the Sri Lankan Foreign Minister said that the President is expected to travel in India in mid-December. He further revealed that the President will engage in a discussion with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit. An invitation to President Dissanayake was extended during the visit of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar last month. This will be the first state visit of the Sri Lankan President to any country, continuing the tradition of making India the first port of call after assuming the office of President. And Ahmed Muin Faruqi joins us from Colombo now on the story. Faruqi ji, President Dissanayake is making India the first port of call after assuming Sri Lanka's presidency. What does this say about the strength of India-Sri Lanka ties?
And there are lots of learnings from this. First and foremost is that the importance which Sri Lanka places with regard to the importance of India-Sri Lanka relations, the bilateral relations, and position of India as a strategic partner for Sri Lanka in its course towards recovery from the economic crisis as well as towards its growth. This is something which is very, very important because time and again it has been seen that every time a new government comes in here in Sri Lanka, the president makes India the first port of call. And this is something the tradition is continuing even in this current government as well. There were a few, doubts and there were a few worries if the new government would have any alternative views with regard to India, but it has been said by the president himself during the visit of External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar to Sri Lanka that he would want to continue to work with India in its stride towards recovery from the economic crisis, and they want to see both India and Sri Lanka together working towards mutual and together to work towards a mutual benefit. And this is something which has been reiterated by the president on several occasions. In fact, it has also been stated during his election campaigns that they look at India as a very important partner. In addition to this, the importance that India-Sri Lanka relations have can also be understood that NPP had in its policy book maintained that they have kept India's strategic interests as a very important one, and this has been said to it has been informed to the Indian High Commissioner as well during his recent interactions with the President as well.
And what are the key areas likely to be discussed during President Dissanayike's meeting with Prime Minister Modi?
There are several important facets of the bilateral relations. One of the most important one would be the economic recovery. The second would be the defense and the security areas, security concerns in the region. And apart from this, there will be with regard to mutual developmental projects, which India has been executing here in Sri Lanka. In fact, apart from this, there would also be a few other topics which might come up in the discussions whenever President would visit India and have an interaction with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and there would be a few other discussions with regard to how India could facilitate investments in Sri Lanka and help Sri Lanka in recovery as well as in increasing the growth possibilities in Sri Lanka. Tanvi.
Okay, finally, a word on Sri Lankan President Dissanayake opting for a smaller new cabinet with fresh faces.
You see, Tanvi, to begin with, yes, 159 out of 225 members in the parliament is what the NPP has secured. And a huge number of these have been first-timers. In fact, it has been a record that more than 160 members in the new parliament will be first-time parliamentarians. And NPP had to go for ministers who have been new. However, it has to be understood that the new ministers whom the government has inducted today, they have had expertise and experience in their respective fields, although not in government, but they have had expertise in the form of being attorneys or engineers or doctors, and they know their subject area well. And there's something which President Dissanayake has been talking about, that the portfolio allocation would be done on a scientific manner, on the basis of merit and experience in their respective fields, and not on the basis of any personal contacts or anything of other similar kind, which has happened in the previous regimes. And this is something which is a very welcome change, because a cabinet which has people who know the subject will go a long way in executing the reforms which the president had been talking about during the campaign as well as even after assuming the office.
All right. Thank you very much, Ahmed Moin Faruqi, joining us from Colombo on the newly appointed Sri Lankan cabinet.